some people say that AI agents are going to get rid of people's jobs and they're the worst thing in the world and we need to stop them. Whereas it sounds like a more measured kind of take is that AI agents will just will give more opportunities, right? Because suddenly you can get someone 8/10 of the way there, and they just need to be like a human in the loop, to be able to kind of help kind of complete these tasks. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I mean, I gotta say, like, we are seeing companies like in the hundreds deploying these AI agents. Like, honestly, on the enterprise, we have like many hundreds of customers by now. And you see the companies that are doing the best are the ones that are actually kind of promoting their employees into managers of these agents. So it's almost like, hey, you're still responsible for packing it up. You're still responsible for kind of like presenting it to make sure that it's valid. Like, you're still doing it. It's just like another tool on your tool set. And even us at Crew, we are definitely over indexing on agents. Like, we use agents for a lot. We do a lot of dog fooding ourselves, and I can tell you it's not like we're spending like any less money because of that. If anything, it's just make us a little more excited about all the other areas of the business that we can invest more now because of it.
Okay, so then let's talk about that. What are some of the use cases you're using at Crew internally?
From the most simple things, for example, preparing for meetings, automatically when we're about to get into a meeting, because we still have a lot of crazy schedules with meetings, we have agents that automatically research the company, the person, different angles, news, anything that might be worth it, and even create ideas of potential kind of like use cases that they should be using agents for and all of that. So we jump into those meetings kind of like being instant experts on the other person. So we can start saying like, hey, Omar, it's amazing that you opened a new factory in Frankfurt. So good to see everything that you folks are doing with AI as well. I think there's potential for use cases on your procurement and your legal areas. Let me talk a little bit about that. So those use cases, and then we have more complex ones. So every pull request right now is reviewed by an AI agent. Most of our documentations are written by AI agents. A lot of our support tickets, now AI agents do a first pass on. Whenever we finish a meeting, we have AI agents that write up follow-ups based on transcripts and even write emails and update HubSpot. So we're using for a lot of different aspects, from coding to sales to marketing to back office and everything along the way.
There are a lot of ideas in there that I want to kind of talk about. I guess the first one, we can start simple, right? Which is, let's say I'm doing this podcast, and right now the flow is, it's very simple, right? I've done enough of these to where I can kind of jump on. I'm mostly interviewing people I know now, or I'm friends with, or have followed online. So I don't have to do that much research, right? Just a few questions that I write down beforehand. But if I were to do a podcast with someone completely new, what does the workflow that I'm building look like? Like, what am I telling it to do? Is it like, oh, go scrape Twitter? Is it a LinkedIn scraper tool? Or what does the actual workflow look like?
I gotta say, early on, the way that I found the best to create these automations is to literally try to understand the process myself, like how I would go about it, right? So for example, if I would research someone, yes, I would check Twitter, I would check LinkedIn, but I would try to find similar people. I would try to find like competitors. I would try to find like, what are people saying about this person? What are people saying about this business? So all those different angles, right? They go beyond of like just saying like, hey, go online and scrap this person's profile and their last like X amount of tweets or X amount of posts. They might go into like, all right, try to understand their industry. Try to find news about their industry and what might be happening. What are big companies on their industries and what are happening with their stocks? How like political changes or news might impact this person. So anything regarding those things, create all those different chunks and angles that you can then have agents kind of like write a complete report at. And you can say like, write me 10 kind of like hot take questions that I could ask this person based on all of this, and other things like that. So I think that the beauty of it is trying to think like what you would do in order to make this like super special. And then you're going to probably do it a couple of times. So you get to validate the process, and then you can transform that into a proper agentic process.
Interesting. And when I'm creating an agent on Crew, am I using just plain text? Does it use like natural language processing, or how does it work?
It's up to you actually. So if you're using the open source, then yes, you're using code. And you can, but the code's pretty straightforward. A lot of people get to use it, even people that have never coded before, because a lot of the agents and task definitions are actually config files. So there are YAML files, pretty easy for you to get around. But if you want to build completely with no code, you can go into our enterprise platform that we do have a free account, and in there we have a studio feature. So you can chat your way into an automation as you explain what you're trying to do, and it will automatically select tools for you, will automatically create agents, automatically create tasks, and give you the ability to change them along the way. But then you can download this code, or you can deploy it right away and turn that into an API.
Interesting. And then, shifting gears then from research to, let's just say, go to market, right? So if I'm now trying to work, let's say I'm the CMO of an AI workflows company. Let's say I'm the CMO of Crew, and I'm now trying to go get more enterprise customers. It's very obvious to me who our ICP is. It's like, okay, and for the audience, like, very obvious who like our ideal. It's very obvious who our ideal customer is. And now it's like, what do I go from there? It's like in my head, I know this is who we're targeting. We're targeting, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but like, let's just say CEOs, CMO, CTOs of, large companies, whatever the actual, ICP is. And then what do I go from there?
So what I would do is, again, think about how you would do if you were a person, right? First thing is code outreach works. Yes, it does. But if you have signals, it's better. So what signals look like? Signals look like people like that profile, they're liking your posts, they're interacting with you, commenting on your profile, sending you messages. So what I would do if I'm really trying to be effective is trying to find the Venn diagram of that ICP and that are actually interacting with me. And you have other tools that kind of provide you that signal if you don't want to go through agents and like mapping all of this, because honestly this could be regular coding, doesn't need to be agentic to do all this initial mapping. What you could do is using tools like Common Room, for example. Common Room is good at that and monitoring overall interaction. And then once that you pick up that signal, then is where like, all right, now let me get agents to research this person, to really dive into every single angle. What other blog posts they have liked it about me or competitors or others, and that will kind of like help you kind of like drive like a narrative on how you can approach them and what will be the story there.
On my last episode, it hasn't come out yet, but I did it with Chris from Hanover. And he has this strategy he calls inbound outbound, which is at the end of every day, he looks through all of the people that have come in and liked his tweet or commented or, some form of engagement on his profile. And he makes it a point to post consistently to, large top of funnel, broad tweets that will just attract founders and investors in general. And if someone fits his ICP, he'll go and DM them a link to his tweet that they engaged with or LinkedIn post and say, hey, saw you engaged with this post. Here's my cold pitch. And it's like 2 or 3 lines. And that's how he's actually gotten most of his customers. And now he has $1 billion in assets managed for his fund, his fund software platform. And so it's like some version of that meets this, which is now using agents instead of manually doing it yourself. And it sounds like you have a really good go-to-market strategy built out in a day or two.
I gotta say, if anything, this is something that I learned from Clearbit, right? Clearbit was all about marketing and sales. Like it was a marketing and like sales-driven software. So, if anything, I learned a lot about from all the companies out there we're doing sales and marketing. And you learn that, yes, it's about the product. Yes, it's about the ICP, but mostly it's about the timing. The right product, the right ICP on the wrong time turns nothing. But if in the right time, sometimes you can create opportunities that you would not even expect. So I think there's a lot of angles in there. So I think the ability to find that timing is kind of what a lot of people kind of sometimes miss the point on. And I gotta say, there are companies out there, they're very savvy about it. Literally things that you would never think about tracking. For example, monitoring job postings give you a lot of signal. A job posting from a company tell you what tax they're using, what new tax they might be adopting, what tax they're dropping, and what in the market they might be in for, what you could be telling them, what it could be trying to sell them. So again, in the end of the day, businesses coding, it's our story, right? And you got to tell a story. Who tells the most convincing story, that story becomes a reality.